Hey guys, what's going on? It's Connor Pouts here, and today is episode 3 of the editing tutorial. Now, in the last episode, we went over Vegas and Doki Doki Literature Club, and I figured in this episode we should go over Life is Strange 2 while using Adobe Premiere Pro, which is what I tend to use more often now. So the difference between these two is, of course, Adobe is linked up to the Adobe Creative Cloud Suite, which means we can kind of adapt certain other pieces of software to it in a way that, it makes it work. And, but we're going to go over some problems with that at the beginning of this video. So, lately I've been having an issue with recognizing, because I decided that for the update, I wanted to update them all to 2020. So I basically spent all day yesterday updating my Adobe Creative Cloud Suite, the entire thing, to the 2020 versions, because they were 2019 or 2018. I don't remember what they were before, but they're 2020 now. They're all updated. And what happened was, apparently the codec that was used for my face cam just wasn't being recognized anymore by Premiere. Here's what was coming up is the question mark. And if I went and put that into there, if I tried to find it through the media browser and everything, it just crashed the entire software. So something was happening there. I think maybe something is a little outdated and it just went out of service, but I'm not so sure about that. Now, in this video, we're going to be going over two things. The thumbnail creation being the second. So on the second monitor over here, we have the last thumbnail that I was working on. Of course, we just got the logo over here, and then the picture of Sayori, and obviously, normally I believe the mouse was somewhere over here, but you can get rid of the mouse using this tool right here. Sort of like say we have, I don't know, what should we do? Let's open up our layers real quick. Let's do something like this, or not that much. Say there's a mouse right here, or something like that. That's a mouse. What you could do is you could take this and do that, and it'll just kind of adjust it. That's what you do with the mouse to keep it out of there, just so it's a picture. This is one of the CGs that are in that game originally, with Sayori hugging to the main character after he said that he loved her. So that's basically the idea there. So we're going to be going over that, but for Life is Strange as well. Let's put that back over there so we can talk about this. So in order to get this face cam, this was recorded prior to knowing that this was going to happen, I had to put it through Handbrake, which is a piece of software that's usually used to take down the file size or encode more. And in this case, it was re-encoding and allowing Premiere to notice it. I put it through Media Encoder, or Adobe Media. Yeah, this guy right here. Adobe Media Encoder. I put it through that, and everything is just was not recognizing it in the slightest. But Adobe Media Encoder is really nice for a few things, and I think I'm going to be going over that either in this episode or sometime in the future. But anyway, let's get straight into Life is Strange. So just like the last video, we're using video layers, and then we have to make good use of these video layers. So obviously, we're taking our game footage right here. This is our game footage. This is the footage directly from my Elgato game capture software. As you can see as you scroll through, this is what I was talking about with Sony Vegas kind of stealing it. Sony Vegas stole the scrub through effect on the thumbnails from Premiere, or I guess took inspiration, we'll say. It took inspiration from it. The reason I say that is because you can do that in Vegas before, and you couldn't do it before, but whereas in Premiere you were always able to do it. And I think that's a nice, cool little effect there. So let's just put it. So I usually put video 1 and audio 1, having my game capture software. Now we're still having that problem with the noise coming directly from my Elgato game capture software. The weird noise we went over in the last episode, that's not gone in Vegas at all. So we're going to be doing the same thing. We're going to be using the audio from this. And as you can see, it's the same audio because it was recorded at the same time. And now we're just going to link that up at the beginning. So if we hold Alt on our keyboard, and we can use the scroll wheel to actually zoom through, and you do that. You could also use this down here, but I kind of like I kind of like doing that. And now what we'll do is we're just going to move that to around here. Now, remember when I was talking about in Premiere before, the fact that you can see the levels right here, but when you're moving them, you cannot tell where they're going. That's the thing. That is different in Vegas. You can't actually tell exactly where your audio is going. So you kind of have to, eyeball it almost, because you don't know exactly where it's going. But if it takes a little bit of elbow grease, but eventually you can get it just right there on the knob. I think that's about as close as we're going to get, and we can listen to it. And you can actually tell that weird noise going on in the background there, then that is from this instead. So what we're going to do is we're just going to get rid of that. Unlink, and we can press delete on our keyboard and move this back up. So that way we can actually not hear that. We don't hear that noise anymore because OBS records actually decent, So then what we're going to do is we can actually hold down and scroll to highlight all the clips here, and right click and hit unlink, and now none of them are linked together, and then we can link them together so that way they move together here without having any problems. So that way we know it is always linked up. And now what we're going to do is we're going to put my voice in there, because it's kind of pointless without a voice. So similar to before, I'm going to hide these two layers here. We're going to zoom in a little bit and kind of get an idea of what we're looking at. So if we start this, as you can see right there, my gain was turned up way too high at the beginning of it. I was still a little sick from this video, or before this video. You probably noticed that in my voice. I sound a little bit hoarse than usual, but so now here we go. Start recording again. Boom. 2020 the there it goes, there it goes, there it goes, there it goes. So once we hit the record button, that's around this same area. I usually like to get an idea of what it is. And then what we can do is we can actually see the either that, or we can kind of show our face again. Actually, we'll do that because that's the whole reason the clap. That's the whole reason the clap is done. So boom, there it claps there. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to split her there so that we know what we're doing. And right when the clap happens, I made it more. We don't want to do that. All right, keep going over, and that sounds pretty dang good. That sounds pretty linked up to what we see. And that's all we really care about. So we're going to link all four of those together. So now all of our video is synchronized. So then I'll zoom in, kind of find where I think my intro is going to be. And I think this is going to be the intro. Hey guys, what's going on? My name is... I know my content way too well. So what we'll do is we're going to hit Control K, which cuts the clip in where we're looking for. We can also use this tool right here, but I kind of find it easier to just use the arrow keys, or the hotkeys. And we're going to hit delete, but we're not going to hit just delete. We're going to hit shift and delete. And what that does is a ripple delete. It basically sends it back to the start of that clip, so you don't have to worry about moving it over. In this case, I am going to have to, because it wasn't big enough. And so this is essentially what we're left with. A completely synchronized video that has not been edited in any way, shape, or form. So we're going to have to put our face cam in this little box. So let's do that the way Premiere usually does it. So we're going to double click on this once we're unlinked that. We're going to go on over to Effect Controls, and we're going to hold the open opacity. Or maybe not. Motion. It's in motion. Yeah, I didn't have it shown because this is a new update. And then what we can do is hit position, or like hold position down. You can go ahead and then you can do this, move it up and down, essentially. And what you can do is hit the tilde key underneath escape, and that way you can, whatever you're using is going to be maximized. So that way you can see it a lot better. And we're going to try and get it into the center of the clip here. And that's as close as we can get. So we're going to untilde. We're going to go on over to effects over here in this area. And we're going to search for crop. Crop. We're going to take this crop down here into the transform and then put it over onto this clip, the one that we're using right now. And then this will pop up underneath our video. You just click that, and then the same thing, we're going to hit the tilde key and kind of get an idea. Oh, I know. So that way, at the end here, it should look like this, which is pretty perfect. So what we'll do, I'm going to link them back together, and now what we have is my face cam here, and the game down here. So if we let it go a little bit more, as you can see, the game's down here. We can see what's being said over here, and then of course inside the blue little face cam box, there's my face cam down there, and the face cam border is on the top. If we unhide it, I usually keep it in the same place because I don't feel like moving it around. And yeah, that's essentially the idea there. So let's figure out what we're gonna do about the thumbnail. So before I do any editing, I like to take the time when I have the whole clip at my disposal and just kind of like sift through it and look for decent scenes that we can use as a thumbnail. So obviously, around this area, I was gonna think about making Daniel lifting that huge giant boulder thing, because he did, as you can see. Oh, there it is. I may have to push it. Look at that. Look at that. Maybe there's going to be a wide shot here in a second I kind of want to use for it. So if we wait. Ooh, that's a wide shot. It's moving. But that's still a medium shot, actually. So we're going to have to adjust that a little bit so that we can see it better on the thumbnail. So what we're going to do is we're going to hide these top layers so that all we see is the game. And we're going to hit this little camera button down there. It's called Export Frame. Boom. And what it'll do is it'll export the frame. Pro 14. Oh, BMP, bitmap. I'm going to change that to PNG. We're going to go browse to our desktop. I'm going to save it there so that we can easily... We're going to not import it because it's just the thumbnail. And then we can bring that back. Be sure you're always save. Press Control S or just do that. You'll be surprised how if you just get crashed every now and then you lose all your stuff. I'm going to save it at the beginning here, even though it doesn't really matter. So now that we're done with that, what we have is an exported frame that we can then use for a thumbnail. So what we'll do, I'm going to move my Photoshop over here. I kept it ready for me. I'm going to get rid of this because that's just what I was working on before. What we can do is grab the Life is Strange 2, the one that we just put, and drag her right into there, so that we can see this frame. This is the frame we saw in Premiere before. I had it exported. There's a little doggy down there. We're going to use the crop tool, and I'm actually going to make sure the ratio is 16:9 so that we're not keeping it at the size of what it's going to be. And I'm just going to like bring it down to where I think that's probably good. I don't want to cut too much off because then you're not going to be able to see much. And we need some spot for the to put the logo. I think we're going to put it in the middle in this case. So then we've got this fit on the screen. We could see. But now we don't know what game it is. How are we going to know what game it is? Well, we can place embedded into here. And I've got the Life is Strange logo. Life is Strange 2 logo right here. So that's kind of what it is like right here. We can make it a little bit bigger than that by pressing shift so that it, oh, maybe not press shift. That is weird. What is it? If you press shift, you can change it, but normally it doesn't. Oh, that's weird. That's like opposite of how I expect it. That's weird. But I'm going to put that, say, right in the middle. You could kind of see it snap in the middle there. I'm going to put it there. You can see Life is Strange 2. You can see Daniel on the side here lifting up that big old boulder, and you can see that little doggy down there at the bottom, even though it's kind of pixelated. You can't really tell. So then after that, we can export as. You can actually tell it what it needs to do, which is what I like to do. I like to have more control over it. I tell it right now it's going to be 1377 by 775. We're going to change that to 1280 by 720 since that's more industry standard. And it's not going to crop. It's going to take it down to where we really expect it. This 33.3 right now, but it's going to bring that down so everything's going to be sharper. And format PNG, that is a little risky because usually that is going to be 1.2 megabytes. When you're uploading to YouTube, it cannot be over 2 gigabytes or 2 megabytes, or else it's not going to go. But that is fine, 1.2 megabytes, so we can export it in PNG, which is higher resolution. And then what we can do is we're going to call this Life is Strange 2. I'll just call it that. And yeah, I think we can tell what it's going to be. It's really a margin decision. You know, you make it on the margin. You don't really have a plan for thumbnails when going in, but you eventually make something that makes a little bit of sense. And then what we could do is put it in edited. Now I have my uploads meshed up with all the 7 days. This particular one's going up on Friday, so we can just yank that into Friday. We could press that button down at the bottom so we can actually see what's going on. And Wednesday, I just uploaded the one for Wednesday. I think, it's premiering right now, so we don't need these files anymore. They're just kind of useless to me at this point. So empty recycle bin, get rid of that. It don't need you anymore. And I'm gonna start building up the next week's stuff. This particular one's going up on Friday, but I'm gonna be using Adobe Media Encoder to export this later on at night. So I guess I will pick up this video later on once I do that. All right, so we are back. Now this is Adobe Media Encoder. Now last I showed you, we had not edited the Life is Strange video, and the Life is Strange video has been edited, as well as the Doki Doki Literature Club video that I'm going to be putting in the queue. Now, a good upshot of using Adobe Media Encoder 2020, or Adobe Media Encoder in general, is that you can set up render queues. So that means you don't have to babysit it and wait around for one to edit so that you can go back, wake up at 2 in the morning and start another render. No, you put it out, it just queues. Once one's done, the next one starts, and that's pretty cool. So when you get back up, guess what? All your videos are exported, and you don't have to worry about it. So on a normal day, I'd get like 2 or 3 videos exported overnight because I don't want to have to wait for them right away, like when I'm doing. Like, sometimes if I'm going out to eat with my girlfriend or something, I'll set up a video to render while a smaller one, so by the time I get back, it's done. But mostly I'll use Adobe Media Encoder to do it. So I'm not going to start the render because I'm in the process of editing this video right now. This editing video that you're seeing right now, this was the Photoshop part. And I kind of want to put this on the render queue as well because, I want that to be edited. So I'll just show you adding the other 2 to the render queue. So let's do Doki Doki Literature Club first. Why not? As you see, DDDLC. I added an extra D on there for some reason. HPC H.265 is the encoding that I used. Now, what's the difference between H.264 and H.265? H.265 is more modern than H.264. It's a better compression ratio, and it usually allows for a lot more. Like, usually these Doki Doki Literature Club videos will be, say, 20 gigabytes. And if I just look at one, like this one for Saturday, it's brought it down to 2 gigabytes. So it brought from 20 to 2, which is not bad. H.265. It takes a long time to render, but it makes it so that when you watch it on YouTube, it's not going to actually lag as much, or it's not going to like buffer as much, because if you upload a 2 gigabyte file, it's going to be a lot faster than if you upload a 20 gigabyte file. So yeah, that's essentially what H.265 is. It's just a compression ratio. It uses MP4.MP4, which is kind of like the industry standard right now. And unfortunately with H.265, if you have an older computer, it won't export in that encoding because it's a little new. You need new codecs for it, and it's just a big mess of just useless stuff that no one cares about. So anyway, we'll take Life is Strange 2, again, the one I edited today. I didn't show the editing process because I kind of already showed it in the Doki Doki Literature Club video. It's a little different with Premiere. If you guys want to see that, you can just kind of let me know. But anyway, yeah, what you would do is you'd hit the Start Queue, Enter. Now, I'm going to change the export to edited, actually. I wish there was a way you could change it. Maybe there is a way you could change it so where edited is going to be the default, but I just so far I just make sure it doesn't matter where it goes as long as it gets exported from me. So yeah, once I get off this video, I'm gonna keep this video, put it in, or no, I'm gonna put this video, start edit this footage. I'm gonna save this Premiere project file, and I'm gonna add that to the queue so that it gets rendered out after all of these. So yeah, it's like the third top priority, because the first channel comes first, but the second channel, we'll put it in there too, so we can make content for it, and so that people don't feel like they're being left out over here on this side. But the cool thing about Adobe Media Encoder is that you can even use After Effects files, and I think even Flash or other files like that, using animations or something like that, like SWF and that kind of thing. You can all put that in Adobe Media Encoder. So if you have like 40 GIFs to make, you don't have to hit render on each of them. You just like put them all in here, let it do its thing, and there you go. So Adobe Media Encoder really is a powerful tool, and it can help you. It can help you a lot when you're exporting. So yeah. If you guys want to see more editing videos like this for more games, be sure to leave a like. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe to this video for more awesome content, and I will see you guys later.